In this video, we'll learn all about references. In the past, you may have seen a line about references at the bottom of many resumes. It went, "References available upon request." This sentence is no longer necessary. Employers expect that you will provide references, so you don't need to state your willingness to do so. Most employers want between 3 and 5 references, so be sure to have at least 3 ready. Employers will ask your references questions about your ability to perform the job they're hiring for, so choose people who can speak to your work ethic and abilities. Character references, such as friends or family, are not a good choice. Once you've identified some professional references, ask permission before using their names. That conversation is also a good time to share a copy of your resume with them and to ask which contact information they would prefer you to use. You'll need to include the following information about each of your references: their first and last name, current job title, current employer, their preferred phone number, and preferred email address. Separate each reference with a blank line. You may be wondering why you need to list your references' job titles and employer. This information tells employers your professional relationship to each reference. If a reference's relationship to you is not obvious by their current job title, add an explanation in parentheses like former supervisor or colleague at XYZ company. The formatting of your references should be the same as the rest of your resume. There's some disagreement about whether your references belong on your resume itself or on their own separate page. In my experience, some employers appreciate having them easily accessible, and others consider it presumptuous to include them. So the choice is up to you. If you want to stick to traditional advice, place your references on a separate document. If you have room on your resume and want to use a more modern approach, you can include your references at the very bottom of your resume. Let's talk about both options. As a separate document, your references page will include the same header as your resume, followed by the section title, References. Remember to keep the formatting consistent with your resume. Under that section title, list the information I mentioned earlier about each of your references. You can make this section left-aligned or centered on the page if you like. When listed at the bottom of your resume itself, you can list your references in 2 columns to save space. Just be sure that the columns line up properly. The first entry in each column should start on the same line. Aside from the columns, you should use the same formatting in this section as is used on the rest of your resume. If you have questions about references, visit the Career Services office in Iowa Hall or go to kirkwood.edu/careerservices for information on how to make an appointment. And don't forget to check out the rest of the videos in this resume series to continue creating your resume.